The Georgia heat pressed down on me like a wet blanket as I pulled my 10-year-old Honda Civic into the driveway of my childhood home in Savannah. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, and not from the broken air conditioning that had given up somewhere around mile marker 43. I was 32 years old, and I was about to attend my younger brother's engagement party, the same brother who had always been the golden child. The same brother whose accomplishments were framed and hung in the hallway while my college diploma gathered dust in a box somewhere in the attic. My phone buzzed. Mom's text read, "Don't be late, and please try to look presentable." I glanced down at my Target clearance rack sundress and laughed bitterly. This was as presentable as my bank account allowed. Walking through that mahogany front door felt like stepping back in time. Nothing had changed. The same crystal chandelier hung in the foyer. The same family photos lined the walls, carefully curated to showcase my brother Tyler's achievements. His high school football trophies, his college graduation from Duke, his promotion to senior analyst at some financial firm in Atlanta. And me? There was one photo, my high school graduation, shoved between Tyler's soccer championship and his debate team award. "Rachel, you made it!" Mom's voice dripped with surprise, as if she'd expected me not to show up to my own brother's engagement party. "Of course I made it, Mom." She looked me up and down, her smile tightening. "That's what you're wearing?" Before I could respond, Tyler bounded down the stairs with his fiancée, Madison. She looked like she'd stepped out of a Southern Living magazine. Blonde highlights, perfect teeth, designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. "Sis." Tyler pulled me into a hug that felt more performative than genuine. "Glad you could take time off from the bookstore." "The bookstore." He said it like I worked at a lemonade stand. "Independent bookstore," I corrected. "I'm the assistant manager now." "That's wonderful, sweetie," Mom interjected, already steering us toward the dining room. "Now come on, we have gifts to open before dinner." The dining room table was covered with elegantly wrapped boxes, Tiffany blue, gold ribbons, clearly expensive. Dad sat at the head of the table, barely looking up from his phone. "Rachel, good to see you." "You too, Dad." The gift opening began. I watched as Tyler and Madison unwrapped a Le Creuset cookware set from our aunt, a KitchenAid mixer from our uncle, a check for $5,000 from our grandparents with a note, "For your new home together." Then Mom brought out 2 boxes. The first was large, wrapped in silver paper with an enormous white bow. She placed it in front of Tyler and Madison. "From your father and me," she said, beaming. Tyler tore into it like a kid on Christmas morning. Inside was a leather folder. He opened it, and his jaw dropped. "A cruise? Mom, Dad, this is incredible." 2 weeks in the Mediterranean, Dad said, finally putting his phone down. "All expenses paid, first-class accommodations. We booked the honeymoon suite on the ship." Madison squealed and threw her arms around my mother. Tyler was calculating out loud. "This must have cost at least $20,000. 23, Mom corrected proudly. "But you're worth it, honey. Both of you." I sat there, smile frozen on my face, doing the math in my head. $23,000. That was more than I made in a year at the bookstore. Then Mom turned to me. "And Rachel, we have something for you too." She slid a small envelope across the table, not wrapped. Just a plain white envelope with my name written on it in my mother's handwriting. I opened it slowly. Inside was a single scratch-off lottery ticket and a note. "Good luck. Love, Mom and Dad." The table went silent. I stared at the ticket. It was a Georgia lottery scratch-off, the $5 kind, the cheapest one they sold at gas stations. "We thought it would be fun," Mom said quickly. "You know, something different. You might win big," Tyler snorted. "Yeah, Rach. Maybe you'll win enough to buy yourself a new dress." Madison giggled. Even Dad cracked a smile. My face burned. "Scratch it now," Tyler urged. "Let's see if you're a millionaire." I wanted to leave. I wanted to throw the ticket in their faces. But instead, I pulled a penny from my purse and started scratching. Everyone watched, waiting for the punchline. I scratched the first box. A $sign appeared. The second box, another $sign. The third box, another $sign. "Oh, you got 3 symbols," Mom said. "That means you won something." I scratched the prize amount below, my hands moving mechanically. And then I stopped breathing. The numbers stared back at me. $5 million. $5 million. My vision blurred. I blinked hard, certain I was misreading it. But no. There it was. Clear as day. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Well? Tyler demanded. How much did you win? $5? 10? I folded the ticket carefully and slipped it back into the envelope. My hands were steady now. Eerily steady. $20, I lied smoothly. Enough for dinner this week. Tyler laughed. Hey, that's better than nothing. See? Mom and Dad gave you a gift after all. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. I smiled. I made small talk. I complimented Madison's ring. I ate the expensive catered food and drank the champagne. But inside, my mind was racing. $5 million. At midnight, I was back in my studio apartment, the lottery ticket spread out on my kitchen counter under the harsh fluorescent light. I'd checked it 17 times. I'd compared it to the winning numbers on the Georgia Lottery website. I'd read the fine print on the back until my eyes hurt. It was real. I had won $5 million, and nobody knew. I called in sick to work the next morning. I couldn't focus on shelving books when my entire life had just changed. Instead, I drove to the Georgia Lottery headquarters in Atlanta, 3 hours away. The woman at the claims desk was named Patricia. She had kind eyes and didn't ask questions when I slid the ticket across the counter with shaking hands. Let me verify this for you, honey. She scanned it, typed something into her computer, scanned it again. Then she looked up at me with wide eyes. You need to speak with our legal team. 2 hours later, I was sitting in a conference room with a lottery official named Mr. Chen and a lawyer named Rebecca Thornton who specialized in lottery law. Congratulations, Miss Rachel Porter, Mr. Chen said. You've won the Georgia Lottery Gold Rush Spectacular top prize of $5 million. The words didn't feel real. Rebecca leaned forward. Before we proceed, I need to explain your options. You can take the lump sum, which, after taxes, will be approximately $2.8 million. Or you can take annuity payments over 20 years. Lump sum, I said immediately. Smart choice for someone your age, Rebecca said. Now, I strongly recommend you do not tell anyone about this win until we have all the legal protections in place. I've seen too many winners lose their money to family members who come out of the woodwork. Family members. My stomach twisted. Can I set up a trust? I asked. Rebecca smiled. Absolutely. In fact, I insist on it. Over the next week, I didn't go home to Savannah. I stayed in Atlanta, working with Rebecca to set up an irrevocable trust called the Porter Family Trust. On paper, the trust owned the money. I was the sole beneficiary and trustee. But my name wasn't publicly attached to the win. Georgia allowed lottery winners to claim through trusts, which meant I could remain anonymous. I also hired a financial advisor named Marcus Webb. He was in his 50s, had worked with 3 previous lottery winners, and didn't bullshit me. The first thing people do is blow the money, Marcus told me during our first meeting. Cars, houses, giving handouts to every relative who suddenly needs help. Don't do that. I won't. Good. Here's what we're going to do. We'll put $1 million in conservative investments. Another $1 million in a high-yield savings account as your emergency fund. The remaining $800,000 after taxes and fees. That's your live-your-life money. You can buy a house, pay off debt, whatever you need. But we're investing the bulk for your future. It was the most adult conversation I'd ever had. By the end of the week, the money had been transferred. I had official documentation. I had a financial plan. And I had a decision to make. I could walk away from my family. Never tell them. Let them keep thinking I was struggling, barely making it, unworthy of their attention. Or I could show them exactly who they'd underestimated. I chose the latter. I drove back to Savannah on a Saturday morning. I didn't call ahead. I just showed up at the house at 10 a.m., knowing they'd all be there for Tyler's wedding planning brunch. Mom answered the door in her designer athleisure wear. Rachel? What are you doing here? We weren't expecting you. I need to talk to everyone. She frowned but let me in. The whole family was gathered in the sunroom. Tyler and Madison were looking at flower arrangements. Dad was on his laptop. Our aunt and uncle were there too, sipping mimosas. Rachel, Aunt Linda said warmly. What a nice surprise. I stood in the doorway and everyone turned to look at me. I have an announcement, I said. Tyler rolled his eyes. Let me guess. You got promoted to manager at the bookstore? No. I won the lottery. Silence. Then Tyler laughed. Good one, Rach. The $5 ticket Mom gave you? What'd you actually win? $50? $5 million. Mom's mimosa glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the tile floor. That's not funny, Rachel, Dad said sharply. I pulled out my phone and showed them the official letter from the Georgia Lottery Commission, the one with the gold seal, the one that confirmed the Porter Family Trust had claimed a $5 million prize. Mom lunged for my phone. She read it once, twice. Her face went white. This can't be real. It's real, Mom. The ticket you gave me as a joke? It was a winner, and I've already claimed it. Tyler was on his feet. Wait. You won $5 million off a ticket we gave you? You gave me, I corrected. The ticket was a gift. To me. Which means the winnings are mine. But we bought it, Mom shrieked. Your father bought that ticket at the Chevron station. It's our money. I'd prepared for this. Rebecca had coached me. Actually, under Georgia law, a lottery ticket is considered a bearer instrument. Whoever possesses it and signs it is the legal owner. I signed it, I claimed it, the money is legally mine. Dad stood up slowly. His voice was dangerously calm. Rachel, let's be reasonable here. We're family. Surely you're going to share this with us. Share it? Like you shared Tyler's $23,000 honeymoon cruise with me? That's different, Mom snapped. How? Because Tyler has always been responsible. He has a career. He's getting married. You work at a bookstore. There it was. The truth they'd been dancing around my whole life. Tyler stepped forward, trying a different approach. Rach, come on. I'm your brother. We can help you invest this money. Make smart choices. You don't know how to handle this kind of cash. I've already hired a financial advisor and a lawyer. The money's in a trust. It's being invested as we speak. Madison's voice was shrill. You can't be serious. You're going to keep all $5 million for yourself? Yes. That's selfish. Mom was crying now. After everything we've done for you. Everything you've done for me? I laughed, and it sounded bitter even to my own ears. You paid for Tyler's college. I had to take out loans. You bought him a car when he graduated. I drove the same beater I bought myself at 16. You're paying for his honeymoon. My last vacation was a weekend camping trip I could barely afford. So please, Mom, tell me more about everything you've done for me. We gave you a roof over your head, Dad roared. Until I was 18, yes. Like you were legally obligated to do. Tyler's face had gone red. You're really going to throw away this family over money? I'm not throwing away anything. I'm just not giving you money you didn't earn. What happened next was ugly. Mom called me ungrateful. Dad said I was making the biggest mistake of my life. Tyler said I'd regret this. Aunt Linda tried to mediate. Uncle Joe stayed quiet, but I saw something in his eyes. Respect, maybe. I let them yell. I let them threaten. I let them guilt trip. Then I left. The calls started that night. 47 missed calls by morning. Text messages flooded my phone. Mom, we need to talk about this like adults. Tyler, you're tearing this family apart. Dad, call your mother. She's devastated. Madison, I can't believe you're being so cruel to people who love you. I blocked them all. But Tyler didn't give up. 3 days later, he showed up at my apartment. I didn't let him in. Rachel, please. I'm sorry, okay? We all are. We were shocked. We didn't handle it well. But you have to understand, this is a lot of money. We just want to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Let me help you. I know about investments. I can introduce you to my financial guy. I have my own team. His nice guy mask slipped. Don't be stupid, Rachel. You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to blow through that money in 2 years and end up worse off than before. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I'm trying to help you. No, you're trying to get access to my money. There's a difference. He slammed his fist against my door. That ticket was bought with family money. You have a moral obligation to share it. Send me the receipt for the $5 ticket, Tyler. I'll reimburse you. I heard him kick my door before he left. The legal letter came 2 weeks later. Tyler and my parents had hired a lawyer. They were suing me for half the lottery winnings, claiming the ticket was purchased with family funds and given to me as part of a family pool, with the implicit understanding that any winnings would be shared. I called Rebecca immediately. Can they do this? I asked, my voice shaking. They can try. They won't win. Georgia case law is very clear on this. A lottery ticket given as a gift becomes the property of the recipient, but we'll need to fight it. How much will that cost? With a case this frivolous? We can probably get it dismissed within a few months, maybe $20,000 in legal fees. I had the money, but it still hurt. $20,000 to fight off my own family. Do it. The case went exactly as Rebecca predicted. Their lawyer couldn't produce any evidence of a family pool or implicit agreement. The judge dismissed the case within 8 weeks and ordered my parents to pay my legal fees. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. They went to the media. Local news picked up the story. Savannah family torn apart by lottery win. My mother gave a tearful interview. We just wanted to give our daughter a fun little gift. And now she won't even speak to us. The money has changed her. She's not the Rachel we raised. Tyler played the heartbroken brother. I just want my sister back. The money doesn't matter. Family matters. The comments online were brutal. Half the people called me selfish. The other half said my family was toxic. I didn't respond. Rebecca advised me to stay silent, and I did. But watching my mother cry on camera, playing the victim, something inside me hardened. They wanted to make this public? Fine. I hired a publicist named Tasha Green. She was a black woman in her 40s who'd handled crisis PR for 3 politicians and a reality TV star. You want to control the narrative? Tasha asked during our first meeting. I want to tell the truth. Good. The truth is your best weapon here. Tasha arranged an interview with a respected local journalist named Susan Park. We sat down in a coffee shop, cameras rolling, and I told my story. I talked about growing up in Tyler's shadow, the clear favoritism, the $23,000 cruise versus the $5 lottery ticket, the immediate assumption that I couldn't handle money. My family didn't love me less, I said carefully. They just valued me less. And when I suddenly had something valuable, they couldn't handle it. Susan asked the question I'd been waiting for. Do you regret not sharing the money? No, because it was never about the money. If they'd been happy for me, if they'd supported me, I would have helped them. But they didn't congratulate me. They didn't ask how I was feeling. Their first reaction was to demand half. That told me everything I needed to know. The interview aired on a Friday night. By Saturday morning, the tide had turned. Social media erupted in my favor. Comments poured in from people sharing their own stories of family favoritism and financial abuse. My parents' Facebook pages were flooded with criticism. Tyler had to make his Instagram private. Mom called me from a number I hadn't blocked yet. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. You've ruined us, Rachel. Our friends won't speak to us. Your father's colleagues are asking questions. How could you do this to us? I told the truth, Mom. If the truth ruins you, that's not my fault. We're your family. Then act like it. I hung up. That was 3 months ago. Now, I live in a small house I bought in Charleston. 3 bedrooms, a fenced yard, close to the beach. I still work at a bookstore, but this time I own it. I bought a struggling independent bookshop and renamed it Chapter 2. I drive a sensible Toyota. I invest most of the lottery money. I live comfortably, but not extravagantly. And I'm happy. Really, genuinely happy. Last week, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Uncle Joe. Rachel, I want you to know I'm proud of you. I watched your parents treat you differently your whole life, and I never said anything. I should have. You deserved better. You still do. If you ever want to grab coffee, I'd love to hear about the bookstore. No strings attached. Love, Uncle Joe. I cried reading it. Good tears. For once. I also got a letter from Tyler's ex-fiancé. Apparently, Madison called off the wedding. She said she couldn't marry into a family with so much drama. Tyler was devastated. Part of me felt bad for him, but mostly, I felt free. I'm building a new life now. One where I'm valued, where I'm respected, where I don't have to beg for scraps of attention or affection. My family made their choice when they saw me as an ATM instead of a daughter, a sister, a person. And I made mine when I decided I was worth more than a $5 lottery ticket. The irony is almost poetic. They gave me that ticket as a joke, as a reminder that I was the lesser child, the one who deserved less. Instead, it gave me something they never did: freedom.